And record. All right. Howdy, sir.
Hey.
I'll start by having you introduce yourself. I know who you are, but most of our other people probably will not.
I'm Matt. More people know me or identify me as BananaMasher, photographer.
And that's perfect. Yeah, exactly. So I got to ask, because I've never figured this out and I've never asked you, where'd the BananaMasher thing come from? We'll start there.
It's kind of like a trail name. I go hiking a lot. I always like to eat healthy and usually bring fruits with me and bring a banana. No matter where, I would put the fruit in my backpack, try to protect it. Anywhere, anything that I did, it always came out like a pile of goop somewhere. Ever stick your hand in a bag trying to like grab something else, and then you just it's all gunk and muck, and you're like, "What the hell is that?" It's my banana. It's Matt.
Yeah.
So I think I was hanging out with like friends one day, and I just on a whim just changed my Instagram handle to that. I think it was just like my name or photos by Matt, something just generic, and I just changed it to BananaMasher, and I just didn't care. It was like just letting it rip, and then people at shows were like, "Are you BananaMasher?" I'm like, "Well, fuck. If this isn't working, then I guess I'm just going to have my buddy make me a logo, and this is what I'm going to call my photo work under." And
it's always interesting if you pick something
weird,
unique.
But it worked.
Yeah, so you pick the unique thing, and that's what people remember more than your name most of the time.
It's super. Boring name, but yeah, BananaMasher. At least it gets people to like, wait, what was that? Like, it's at least people remember, and that's half the battle.
I mean, for the longest time, my first website before I had a website, I used a Tumblr, and it was "If you love me, you'd kill yourselves," and people were like, "That's easy to remember." I'm like, okay, but now black lung, fucked up voice makes it work.
It helps. A bunch of, older, white dudes usually give me, a stare like BananaMasher. Huh? I'm like, why do you have to be a pervert, you fucking asshole? Like,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. If I go to your website, it's not going to be, anything. No, man. Like, why do you think that? Just because it's BananaMasher?
I would tell them it's just Lemon Party on loop.
Oh yeah, Blue Waffle. Oh yeah, should have like a separate URL just to troll these other people who immediately just go somewhere else with the name. But unfortunately, I've gone too far, and I'm not going to rebrand now. It's fine for the time being.
It's not worth it. And who cares what the Luddites think anyway?
Yeah, it's once they see my photos, usually people like, oh, okay, and
exactly.
It's normal. It's fine.
Especially because you know what you're doing.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You're pretty good at stuff. You're good. You get praises from other people that know what they're doing. Yeah, not just
that's debatable too.
Right. But, oh man. So yeah, I mean, this whole entire thing is focused as being like a conversation. So it's literally we're just going to talk about whatever the hell we want. And hopefully people enjoy what we're talking about and want to tune in. So, you're my third interview. You get to follow up AF Cortez and Randy Blythe. So
what?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
Randy, I'm done. Bye.
But it's funny. So, but yeah. So let's see.
You want to talk?
Let's start with just art. What got you into photography? Start there.
That's like a two-potter. When I first had a camera, I was booking shows under my Nefarious Realm name.
Yep.
And I had only a $100 Sony Cybershot. I was taking really bad photos just to have something to promote, the show thereafter and future shows.
Yep.
I didn't really take any other photos. Like that was pretty much it. It was quite a few years later that I started to take my camera with me on long walks and things like that. I started to do other hobbies and decided, like, why don't I bring my camera to like the other things that I do, not just shows. So that was back in 2008, 9. I started shooting. And then I think around like 2012, I started taking the camera other places with me. At that point, it was I escalated to a DSLR. So maybe having like a proper camera and not a very limiting camera was a big piece of that changing. All the music stuff started around 2008, 9, and then everything else around 12-ish.
Okay. And then what was your first tour you went on? Was that the most recent, or was that did you do this before?
Touring has been newer in the last few years. Local friends and Actor Observer did a 5-run Northeast tour 2 years ago, 23. I joined them for that. It was kind of cheating since we passed through Boston along the tour, so we all kind of just went home for the night. I crashed over one of the dudes' houses just to make the next day, getting back together a little easier. Then the following year in 24, I went out with a Texas-based glassing for a 10-day run with, they were supporting Author and Punisher, and local homies and Mon were also in support. So that was a fun one. And then more recently this year, I did 2 tours with Pelican, 5 weeks all around North America.
Yep.
So yeah, 1 tour a year so far has been my thing. And then way back again in my Nefarious Realm days, I had a small management thing, and I used to bop around with this being Widow Sunday, like on weekenders, pretty constantly. But I don't really consider that like touring. I wasn't really doing really much at all. I was taking bad pictures and just being there. I was just a party animal back in those days, but now it
feels like my early days with Rosetta, for sure. That was my first, was them back when I lived moving from Vermont to Philly, 2006, 2007. But I'd head out with them for weekends or weeks. Like if they did like a week or a weekend, I went for those, but not like tours. That didn't happen until
way more fun than it was work.
Yeah, correct.
Back in those days. I guess that's arguable, though. It's still fun, but yeah, it's a little bit more responsibilities.
I also like the weekends, because then you're like, oh, okay, cool. It feels like Pig Destroyer, It's like we don't tour, we just play weekends.
Yeah, the time off, man, it gets a lot of people. Even Pelican, they're like, this is all the touring we're doing because we've maxed out our PTO. Like, those guys too. Like, they all have careers, families. So it's tough when you're at that spot to be like, all right, I'm going to go play 200 shows a year.
Especially nowadays, where musicians aren't making as much money as they used to. So obviously live, they're going to pull in more, but only if they're the ones independently promoting, booking, and things. If they've got a tour management team, a record label, and all these other things, then it's like, they show up to a city and they're like, here's the 24 people we want on your guest list from the record label. Oh, there's only 50 people in the room, but 24 of them were guest listed. So that kind of thing. It's crazy.
Well, it depends on how good the band are T-shirt salespeople.
Yeah, right.
Merch is the only way bands really make money on the road nowadays.
It's true. God. And now it's $45 for a T-shirt. I'm just like, I am old, aren't I?
And I'm still not going to pay that.
Yeah, I'm not either. I think it's funny because half the time it's like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't get paid to be here to photograph today, but I got a T-shirt. So that was part of my money.
That's, getting thrown a T-shirt once in a while. It's like, fuck yeah, I got paid.
Yeah, right? Exactly. You're like, that's about a quarter of what I normally make an hour, so I'll take it, whatever.
Tell you what we can get.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely not doing it to make money, if that wasn't obvious by now. So I've been photographing for 25 years, and the intent is at the end of next year to finish a book that's the 25 years of like music photography. So we'll see. You know, if I say it on like out loud right now, then I have to be held to it. Right?
You have to do it.
I have to do it. So
accountability.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll expect it. I'll expect that accountability. And then, all right. So that establishes that. What do you do any sort of fine art stuff in your photo work? I mean, obviously the nature stuff, I love your nature work. So, but do you do any fine art stuff that you consider classify fine art that you want to like hang up somewhere?
Not really. I don't do any, I guess, now being the season, I do some bokeh, like Christmas light stuff that's like more arty-farty than like a more documentary style photo. But I wouldn't say I would like make prints of that or put it on a wall or anything, but that's about as artsy as I get. Maybe the dragging the shutter and doing multi exposure tricks and stuff like that with like live stuff, but like yeah, that's about as artsy as I get. I like my photos to be more like true, capturing the scene. What's there, what it's about, not something that you stare at and try to decipher.
Yep.
Not my style. Good for the people that do more wacky stuff or more arty-farty things, but not for me.
I mean, I think you do a pretty good job of what you're doing. So it's not for everybody, right? Everybody. I think it's interesting that we, as photographers, we all kind of pick a niche, and then we're really good at that niche, and then or some of them are not really good at anything, but they pick a niche. So, but there's that. So
photography is, it can be easy, and then it's, like shooting live shows. Like, I don't know what, I never did any research for it. That's what I was into. That's what I was already doing. So that's how I started. But it took me a couple of years. Like, a lot of those photos, especially on lower grade cameras, didn't come out good.
Yeah.
Trying to shoot low light with like a Sony Cybershot, a little $100 camera, you're not going to get, anything that great. So it was a little disheartening, especially at first starting out. But I kept doing it because like I was not getting paid, and I was just doing it for fun, just trying to figure it out. But I guess starting at like the most difficult thing to photograph, like when I started doing nature stuff, I was like, this is so much easier. I can dial things in. I have time. You have all the space that you need. And I was like, oh, this is way easier. And then you have a giant sun blasting overhead. So you're like, oh, I got all this light. This is like really easy. But that was after like grinding my teeth and, shooting dark clubs and mastering those settings when, I didn't really have options. And then once you go somewhere and do something else that you do have control, it's makes things way easier.
I mean, going to that, it's funny because I brought along, or rather I went with, to Saddest Day, I went with a guy who has been interning with me to learn how to take photos, Filthy Luck. So he's there, and it's funny because he was like dead row, like front row center almost the whole entire show trying to shoot photos.
I think I know who you were talking about.
He had the Thin Lizzy hat on that he lost during Touche Amore. But so he's there trying to take photos the whole time. And he's like, I don't understand why my stuff's not coming out the way I want it. Or he's like cutting off heads, or he's, like the shot he had was only half the shot. And I'm like, well, for one, you weren't anticipating what was going to happen. So instead of you were waiting with your camera thinking, oh, I'll get this thing as it's happening, instead of saying, look at that guitarist. He's pulling his arm up in the air. Now get your camera ready so you have it before he moves it again. And little things like that. But that stuff that, as you're saying, if you've been doing it for long enough, you can anticipate that motion. You can anticipate the light. You can figure out what the fuck you're doing. But yeah, that was really funny. He's like, wow, you like that one shot I took of HopeCon from underneath Kevin, where he's got all the cords and all the like bokeh lights and everything else. He's like, how did you get that shot? I was like, I waited and watched for that shot. You know, like I knew exactly what I was looking for and I waited for it and shot it and got it. You know, it's like, I think I took 3 pictures and 2 of the 3 were perfect. And I just went with that one, but it was that kind of thing where if you're not used to it and you're trying to shoot it, like you said, with like subpar equipment, not sure what you're doing, it's an interesting transition to watch like newer people do it now. And you're like, oh, wow, I have been doing this long enough that like, I know what I'm doing now. And when I watch others, so, and that was particularly a great show because instead of high strobing lights the entire time, they had good lighting. So it was like, yes.
Yeah. At times they did. You know, it's whatever. Shows are shows. Yeah. You get good lighting. The band changes. You know, it's always changing. It's light.
Yep.
Well, constant lights.
Create the light. But so yeah, and amongst everything else with photography, part of this is how art intersects with mental health. So now we talk about mental health and anything you want to bring up. I know that you and I in private conversations have been saying some stuff about how, you know, you've definitely been going through some shit. So I guess I'm going to leave it open to you to start saying whatever you'd like to talk about, and we'll talk. So,
sure. Don't know how to begin. But on the topic of mental health, I've noticed I've kind of lost myself in the last couple of years. Like, really don't feel much. You know, like, oh, I don't care. It's like, yeah, I kind of, you know, I do. Like, you know, I care about my job. I care about the photos I take. Like, I do care. But if like something bad were to happen to me, like I would just be like, no, like you can call it. Like I'm done.
Yep.
Lost my dad a few years ago. He was struggling with alcoholism. I'm pretty sure he had to setting into a bunch of different aspects. So the last couple of years with him were excruciatingly difficult. He was not my dad anymore. There's a few points that like he broke out of like, you know, a state of mind. He's like, you know, Matt. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, like he did not recall like what he was just doing, like throwing a temper tantrum or flipping out for some reason, and he would just like snap out of it and come to. And there's like those little moments was like, oh, Dad, there you are. But he, he would go to sleep, and the next morning he would just like reset all over again. But like, yeah, he was my biggest supporter, best friend. Lost him. Then I think it was about a good year and a half span that every 2-3 months something died or someone died or something like bad happened. I mean, like I lost my dad, a cousin, an aunt, my mom's dog passed. The brewery I was working for 6 years closed down. Shortly after that, girlfriend broke up with me. It was just like, and ever since like that, I just been absolutely numb ever since, and in this weird state of mind for the past about 2 years now. Can't seem to find like my happy-go-lucky spirit anymore. I'm just I find myself like a little bit more agitated, edgy. Driving in Massachusetts is incredibly frustrating. So the road rage does set in. Definitely sets in with other people too. But yeah, it's not. I used to love driving. Now I'm just like tonight. I'm like I gotta go to Worcester in a storm, and I'm actually the rain is actually gonna like make people chill and not be road raging. And hopefully be driving more sanely. Yeah, it's again, it's like if my car spins out and I wreck, like, well, then that was my fucking life, and that's fine. I'm okay with death. I just want to feel something again.
I feel that. That is a moment for you, for sure. I definitely
like, I have no reason to not be happy, but yeah, just can't feel it. That emotion is gone. The heartbreak is there, and the heart's broken.
That's not good. I mean, that's an understatement of the century, but I get it. Like, I guess I can relate. I've gone through all that stuff that you're going through, right now, actually, I've not said this to anybody really out loud. My mother is currently in the ICU in Dallas, Texas, intubated. She's been unconscious for 3 days. She had 2 strokes and a heart attack recently, and we'll see if she makes it. But it's hard because my mother and I are extremely estranged. We're not. She was an alcoholic and an addict. I used to rage against it. I was straight edge for years, and then when I hit my stride and became an alcoholic, it lasted 15 years, and I became an addict. And by the time you and I met at the Amin-Ra show in Boston, I was full blown. Like, I was beyond an alcoholic. Like, it had seeped into my brain, and a coke addict. And, it had ruined a lot of my friendships and a lot of my relationships, including with my family. And, subsequently that came from, genetics and things like that. It's a real disease that people don't realize. But so I can at least relate to what was happening with your father there. And I can't say that I've lost her yet, but I kind of did, because, the addict thing, it ruins a person's brain. It ruins a person's mentality and their perceptions on life. Oh, yeah. And it made me numb, because I became my own worst enemy in that regard for myself. And I would say that I feel for you, because it sounds like your father was supportive and he was always there. So that's not a good start. And then it sounds like you just kind of, instead of it coming in threes, it came in threes, and then it came in threes again, right? So it didn't slow down for you. So
yeah, and I don't know, I have a decent sized family, and death was around me, but it never affected the people I see all the time. So I went a while. I lost, of course, my Nana when I was really young, and the most substantial death was I think I just turned 14. It was right over my birthday. My uncle passed. Gotcha. Heart attacks, heart failure runs amok my family. And that was about it. I didn't have anyone really close to me die until all this, 20 years later, everyone's dropping around me all of a sudden. So I never really dealt with or had to experience, loss of a loved one for I didn't know what that was, how to cope, how to deal, until the more recent years that everyone now is, elderly and now, falling apart. I've had a few friends die as well. And it's this never happened to me. And now it's all at once. It's this sucks. It's you can't get a break. Once you stop crying over someone, something else would have happened, and it just would restart, all the emotions all over again. Yep. So it was pretty brutal. I'm better now. I can hold my shit together for the most part, but it's everything is still right behind the wall, right behind the eyes, right behind me. There's all that emotion still there.
Yep. Do you have?
Yep.
I was going to ask if you have your own personal coping mechanisms, because I know some of mine are. I mean, it's to create, it's to write, it's to get out and go hiking. Actually, here in Vermont, not in the winter months, because that sucks ass here. But
I slow down drastically in the winter.
Yeah.
Shooting, going to shows was always my the escape. When I started booking shows and doing all that stuff in the late 2000s into the 2010s, I want to say I'm definitely way more depressed now than I was back in my 20s. But when my broke up with a girlfriend or whatever, I would just go to 4 shows a week. I just devoted myself to my other interests, and that was a great distraction, got me through a lot of bad things. So that's why I kind of keep up the shows. It's okay if I don't get paid, just put me on the list. Just don't let me pay for the ticket to get in, and I'll just walk around and do my thing and shoot. And that's that's work, if you will, just keeping busy and trying to keep your mind off it, not to dwell, not to just keep your mindset on the thing that's destroying you. So yeah, just a lot of shows, which tough time on the holidays because all the shows, it's like a quiet time. Everything stops in the music industry these last 2 weeks. So it's
till the new
just
year
trying to keep my head down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there happened to be a few shows like the first week, which I haven't really seen in the recent years, at least not to the bands of my interest, anyways. But it looks like I should be back at it on January 2nd or so. It was my first show. Yeah, I just recently was like, oh, I got to update my calendar and see what's happening in the new year. And there's a lot of good shows happening.
I just bought a ticket to Blackwater Holy Light, so I'll probably see you to that because I think you posted it. You're like, this might sell out. And I was like, you know what? I want to be there.
Yeah, I think last I knew there was this is a show in February and it already has like 75 pre-sales. Yeah, which any amount of pre-sale is good, but like that's not bad for a 250 cap room. Right. And a lot of people don't really buy tickets to shows like this, so the show it's gonna be a good one.
I'm sad because Glassing's not part of that one, right? They're on tour with the two bands with Soam and Blackwater, but they're not doing that show.
The first leg of the tour, and I think Soam picks up the second leg of the tour, and I was like, that would have been even cooler.
Right?
I haven't seen Glassing in a while.
When we were in Providence, or you went after that? Because you went on tour with them after that, didn't you? After the Providence show we were both at?
Yes.
Okay.
My memory's fried, man.
It's okay. I think that's when I saw Soam for the first time.
I shot them, at AS 220. Was it at AS 220?
No, that show was dusk when they were still open.
That's right. It was dusk. Yeah. That was a cool spot. Yeah, I went on.
I wish that.
All right, that jogged my memory. Yeah, I went on tour. That was my second time seeing Glassing, I believe, second or third. Caught him at the Hong Kong and the Chinese restaurant that used to throw shows on like the third floor. Wild. Yeah. I don't think they do it anymore.
I miss weird spots like that.
I went on tour with them, and then they've came back up to Boston like the following last year, I believe, or early. It was last year. I don't think I've seen them this year. I saw Corey this year when down in Texas. But
yeah, it's funny. They kind of popped up after I moved away from Texas because I was down there in the Austin area for like almost 6 years off and on, back and forth. And, there wasn't a whole lot of a scene down there at the time. They were just pumping in all the music that was there locally because there was not really much of a local scene left. They gentrified it out. So, and then all of a sudden that band came out and I was like, come on. Where the hell were you the entire time I lived in Texas? Like, this is what I wanted. Like, but it's all right.
Yeah, I've heard many stories. I'm like, I've never been to Austin until the Pelican tour, and I was like, oh, like the city's pretty cool. And then anyone that was from Austin would just glare at me. And they're like, no, the city was cool. It sucks now. I'm like, all right.
And even funnier is if you found somebody that was actually from Austin, they're like, don't move here. Please don't move here. Like at the time that I lived there, it was 343 people moving to Austin, Texas per day.
What?
It was insane. They couldn't build enough housing infrastructure to house the people moving there. After South by Southwest alone in like 2013, I think they had an influx of like 100,000 people in that weekend because they realized it was so cool. So they just moved. And then they forgot that like that was just an event. It's not like that all the time. So, but the tech sectors moved there, and then music stuff started to move there. But and then it got gentrified there too. So it was insanely overpriced. When I moved there in 2013, I think I had a 1-bedroom apartment space in this like suite style living arrangement for like $400 a month. So it was super affordable. I moved back to Philly for a moment. Then I came back to Texas looking at the same place, and it was $1,200 3 years later. I was like, what? So, yeah, I was like, all right, then, I guess inflation. But, yeah, so let's see. Kind of like mulling over other things. Currently, what do you got on the horizon for yourself? Like, other than shows, what are you doing for yourself?
Same old. I got some hikes
still
planned.
A Widowmaker.
Still a Widowmaker. I hit my 2-year mark in a couple weeks. I was fortunate when Bone Up closed. They lost their lease and all their paperwork at the very end of the year. So I was able to. I took a few weeks off and then went right into Widowmaker after that. So they're always up to no good. They're doing wonderful things, ending the spiraling, crazy, turbulent beer industry.
Oh, yeah.
Doing shows is something that, the other, one of few metal themed type breweries or music themed. Doing a show once a month is pretty fun.
Yep.
Especially when old friends like come back through and it's like, oh, you're in my house now. This is a little bit weird. And it's a venue, but it's a tap room. It's fun to be on the more of the hospitality side to friends and bands that I usually see at like the Middle East or other nightclubs and venues only. So it's fun. I love beer. Beer is good.
Beer.
Then,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I see so many. Well, I don't see so many, but I see enough breweries that focus on metal and music and hardcore and punk in a good way. Like, they're like, oh, here, let's turn out this like metal specific beer, or they work with a band and they create beer, right? And then you got the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest, and they move that around depending upon what city. You know what you don't see a lot of? Metal inspired marijuana.
I don't see any really themed anything about marijuana. They're like, hey, it's weed, and everyone's like, hey, cool. That's all you need.
But it's just
so that industry is ruined. Before beer used to be just like that. Like I don't talk, beer stuff with people that come in anymore, really. And if anything, it's usually about hops. It's not actually like beer geek talk or anything like that. Like that all went out the window. I think COVID had a major shift into how breweries operate. I see more breweries now like trying to latch onto something, like especially events and doing something more to pull people in because the beer is just simply not enough anymore. Weed is still thriving in that kind of idea, like, oh, it's weed, and maybe the younger folks are, I don't know, to me I'm just like, hey, weed is weed, and I really head high, body high, like pick which one, and that's, I really don't care about all the other details, so like maybe I'm missing out on that aspect. But like for beer wise, like people don't really care anymore. They want like the hype stuff, and that's in something to do or something to eat, or otherwise like preoccupy themselves. Like the old beer culture seemed to be no longer there, or how to define, or I don't know how you would put it, but it's definitely changed.
I guess because I don't drink anymore, that's kind of, for me, it's an interesting thing to hear, because I wouldn't have thought about that culture kind of passing with COVID, but I guess it did, because so many people had that, like myself included, had that increase in consumption, and then that dropped away. So then also that, I guess their interest in gathering about to be there for whatever beer isn't necessarily there anymore either, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, like, a lot of places were forced to have food for some reason. So then you go back to your original model, and, customers now like, oh, where's the food? Like, I came here with my family to, have dinner. We're going to go somewhere else now. It's like, well, one, why you bring kids to a brewery to have dinner? So like,
Tell me about it.
Like that aspect of like friends and people, going out to drink, and then the other half, like more recently, on the other side of COVID, like I see more families coming in through Widowmaker than I do like younger people. Like, I'm gonna have to cut you off because you're smashing. This is like your 8th Rift City. Like that has not happened.
That's an interesting, yeah. Okay.
In the younger generation as well, like all these beer people are now like, had kids. They all had families. They're like, oh, let's go to the brewery. But that's it. Like there's the younger generation of kids and, younger adults. They don't really drink. There's water is like killing sales right now. It's not really the, vaping and maybe smoking is more popular than drinking alcohol is. So like across the board, like, all the small breweries, you probably seen a bunch already closing all around you. I think that's going to get worse in the next couple of years. All the mom and pop shops are going to be closing. I think Widowmaker's big enough that they'll be able to fight it out. But I wouldn't be surprised if breweries like around their size all over the country are going to start banding together, making a bit like Dorchester Brew and Aeronaut did that. They teamed up and now they're one big company now. They still have their own brands, independently run, but they're under one name. That's, and I think that's going to be the future of breweries to stay alive. But they all, bone up with small husband and wife duo. They couldn't keep up. Small breweries, although even bigger breweries. Rogue One just closed up. Rogue Ales. True Brewing is struggling to.
True out in Colorado.
Rogue they're, I wouldn't say done. I think someone is contract brewing for them. I saw a post like a week or so ago that the original location there is with Music City Hot Chicken or whatever. They were serving beer. They were there again. I'm not sure if that was like a one-off event or if that was them like, hey, we're trying to come back. But yeah, True is otherwise they're done.
Oh geez. Okay, so that's two that I would have never thought, especially Rogue, like Dead Guy Ale. Everybody loved that shit. So
yeah, that was a kind of like I didn't see that coming. But like I guess they owed like a shitload of taxes and like back rent or whatever, and they just couldn't get out of that hole.
That sounds like bad business decisions too. So yeah,
that could have. I have no idea. I didn't read the Brew Brown article. I just saw the headline.
That's fair.
Like, I know enough that it's like, beer is not well in this climate, so there's going to be a lot more brewery closures and stuff. But that's why all these breweries have to do all these events, and a lot of places didn't have events or bonsai tree making classes and paint your own mug classes every night of the week. Like every brewery, if you look at, most of them have events booked Tuesday through Sunday of trivia nights. You name like all kinds of different levels of events, but events nonetheless to have to get you into the door. Whereas before they were just like, hey, we released the new beer, come and drink it, and people will like see you in 15 minutes. Like and the new beer pool doesn't exactly work anymore. Some beers definitely the more popular and the big ones do, and some of them it's like people are like, oh, okay, well, I'll see you when I see you. So go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's not something I expected.
So buying a $10 pint can get expensive.
Yes.
Or going to a venue. Like I don't drink when I'm at shows typically, because I'm not gonna. I work for a brewery. I'm not gonna pay $15 for a PBR.
Yeah,
nuts to me. So, but yeah, it's tough out there.
That's crazy.
But as far as plans going, trying to hit the trails more. Trying to go on tour again. If any bands out there.
Both of us, yeah. Yeah. Hi. He's mostly we both have good vibes. Bring us. But here's a question. So what made you stop booking shows?
It sucks, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but also and
it's just I don't know, it wasn't my interest in music. Like it's fun to do, and it's cool to be that guy that books the shows and stuff, but like trying to lock down a date at a venue and get the bands when the bands can't give you a confirm unless you have a venue date, but the venue wants the bands before they give you a date. And then
I'm having that difficulty trying this, because I'm trying to get back into it, and it's ridiculous to put your puzzle pieces together, and then on top of that to have your venue say, okay, we want $1,700 for a Monday night that we wouldn't otherwise be using the venue. And then you have the band say, well, here's our astronomical guarantee to come through your town, even though it's a stop that we weren't booked anyway. So then you're looking at like, a normal show on like, say, let's call it a Monday or Tuesday night. You're trying to put it together and it's going to cost you $5,000 out of pocket. You're like, what the fuck happened here? So
can we just do a deal? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so yours was just disenfranchised with that section?
It was that. It was one instance I booked Ralph Steiner for a show, and then like a couple of weeks later, the Palladium announced like one of the big festivals, Slaughter or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. Like this is 2 miles away from the venue I just confirmed. No one's going to go to the small local, or I don't mean to say like local, but like smaller bands when there's a huge national mega tour coming through the same city on the same day with the same genre of bands. It was like, oh, okay, like this show is now going to tank because everyone's going to be going to that show. Fiona, can you not? Damn cat. Mixtures. Get over here. This is Fiona.
Oh, Fiona.
But yeah, it was just insanely tough. Winning the money swing, I'd be up a few hundred one night. Book the next show a couple weeks later, I'd be losing money. Just the hype machine behind it, and I wasn't. It kind of took the fun out of it.
I feel that.
It just wasn't for me. It was easier doing things at Bone Up because I was like the in-house talent buyer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. You're booking shows when you're in control of where the show is happening, and wasn't my money I was spending. I just needed to book the, keep it reasonable and get the bands to come play. But like, it's not my kind of game. I applaud, like all the promoters and talent buyers out there, but like, that job is nuts to me. Absolutely nuts. Booking is such a pain in the ass.
It's funny because around here,
way
like,
more fun taking photographs.
Say what? What was that?
Way more fun taking.
Yeah,
it's more fun to take photographs.
Way more. It's funny. Years ago when I did it here in Vermont, it was almost like people chastised me if I made money on a show. And it's funny. I'm like, how do you think I do the next one, guys? Like I'd pay money to the band, do their guarantee, pay the venue. And if I made $100, I was lucky, but most of the time I was spending my rent to like cover the guarantee for somebody. And then, it's like one show I make money and somebody's like, oh, he took money from the door. I'm like, of course I fucking did. I booked the show.
What the hell are you
talking about?
Not doing this. I'm not going through all of this aggravation to hopefully not walk away with a few dollars in my pocket too.
Correct.
Have somebody else book your shows then.
Not only that, but you do math on it. And you do math on it, and you're like, okay, so promotion, the amount of money you spend on that, the time you put in to like get it all together, like if you do like now it's what, all internet ads and nobody fucking looks at them anyway. So, but you put them up there and you spend money on them, and it's after a while I'm like, I want to go back to the grassroots way of doing this. I just talk to people.
So no more that. I think my last show was 2012 was my last show, and that's been about it. I may be working on something for the new year. It'll be a couple shows here and there, but not like I was trying to. What was I doing? I was doing like 2-3 shows a month there for like a year or so, at booking whatever pub, bar, venue I could get into. But not doing anything like that anymore. It'd be a couple events throughout the year, and that'll be it.
Should I guess that they'll probably be at Widowmaker too?
Probably not. Being a tap room, it's a little bit more limiting of what we can do there. And like the owners, like, it's difficult to shut down the tap room. We get a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but an amount of pushback from people that, didn't look at the internet and decide to come through and like, oh, sorry, we're closed. I need to actually ask you to leave in 30 minutes because we're flipping the room over for a concert. Yeah. So it is like a little alienating on that behalf.
Gotcha.
But no, details are still being worked out in that regard, but stuff will be probably soon-ish, I hope. Again, I'm in that random gray area of I need a date and the bands need a date, and I need a date so I can tell the band, what if the band's not available for the entire month. Like I need a date to throw at people, and I just hate the the going back and forth constantly until it actually locks in.
Yep.
Usually that first date you get doesn't really work for all parties involved, and if I have a specific idea for like a lineup or certain bands, a theme of the overall event, I want to get certain bands. If I can't, I need to rewire what I'm going to do with that show. And I'm in that weird spot where I have no idea what's happening until it finally all clicks together.
Makes sense to me.
Booking sucks.
I hear you.
The other stuff is like kind of there and it's all fine, but it's like, trying to get these events going. And it's like, damn,
I'm trying to do
can't
more.
You give me a Saturday date 4 months out from now? It's never that easy.
And then you look in what bands.
Maybe after I do a couple of them, maybe they'll give me a date. What is that?
I was going to say bands are booking like 6-7 months plus out now, like away from a date, and you're like, wow, I gotta like have a place hopefully still be open in half a year from now. You have no idea. You're like, okay.
Oh yeah, like a lot of the really big stuff that you see, it's like, oh, crazy, like like Decibel Fest, like they just had their Denver installment, and like 2 days later they announced the Philly, which is in April. Yep. It was like, oh, this has been fully booked for probably like 8+ months. Like you already knew these bands. Like that's crazy. Some of them, booking that far out in advance is like nuts to me. But yeah, I guess that's the name of the game.
Apparently, it makes me feel like an independent promoter. It's just they don't want you doing it independently anymore. They want to have all these cash flows occurring, and they don't see the independence anymore. It's like, it's interesting when you talk to all the bands involved and you're like, if you're a smaller one, you're not really making anything off of anything. You're just playing because, oh, well, now I'm in front of this many people and hopefully I can sell all my merch, like you said. But other than that, they're not walking away with this big old paycheck, but somebody on the label end is, somebody on the promoter end is. Usually it's Live Nation, usually it's Ticketmaster, usually it's these larger things. Saying, okay, let me book this 8 months in advance because I know it's going to be successful, and to hell with everybody else involved. So,
I guess, there's levels to it, and you got to do your time, and I get it. It's just like anything else, but it's just, can we do better?
I think so, but who knows? We got to kind of. It's interesting when I was, when I was doing the last one with Randy and how he was talking about that level of like, how do we take things back? What's the new punk? What's the new DIY? What's the new do it yourself? And I told him all the time that back then, like when I was booking shows in my 20s, it was, instead of saying DIY, I would say DIT. So do it together, because I would always bring in younger people and be like, this is how you run a soundboard. This is how you run a lighting board. This is how you stage manage. This is how you turn over a band so that, they're not taking 45 fucking minutes in between sets. Like, how do you backline? What do you do here? What's a guarantee? What's the door deal? Just teaching them how to do stuff, hoping that that next generation was going to come up and they would do something similar. And it seems like some of them did, and now none of them, they're all like, they complain or they lament about the death of our music scene up here. We've had every music venue shut down, almost every single one of them. And especially the metal or like live loud stuff. Sure. They keep telling us it's insurance, that the insurance won't cover it because it's metal. And I'm like, it's not insurance. It's somebody not wanting to do it because maybe there's a little bit of an insurance point, but it's really just, they don't want, up here, they don't want that. It doesn't bring them enough money in beer or alcohol sales with these all ages events. And I understand that, but then you got to cross it. You got to do special permits just to get like underage people into a bar. It's a whole fucking mess.
Oh, yeah.
Without the venues, most of them closing down because rents are rising and there's no place to go. You're like, oh, okay. It used to be, you know, like you said, like Hong Kong would put something in the third floor of like a Chinese restaurant, or I had people play in my office space at one point. I found a yoga studio that let me book bands in a yoga studio. You know, it's like every VFW imaginable, anything you could find. It was like, oh, is this a fucking giant empty room? I can fit 200 people? Sweet. I'm going to have a hardcore show here. But nowadays, nobody thinks like that. Nobody tries. And then, you know, like the venue's too afraid maybe their insurance won't cover it because insurance is the biggest grift imaginable. So instead they're like, I can't do that because we'll get shut down permanently if we have one show this way. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, they're not leaving a whole lot of opening for new blood or new activity.
I did see another Boston local photographer post. I think she said something like, "I think Boston is healing." Because she was at like a basement show in Alston, which there are a few spots that seem to be throwing like small little shows. But like I remember when I was younger, like house shows and warehouse shows were always happening. Then like they were always getting shut down and moved to the next spot. And now it's like house shows and like that kind of do it yourself. Like fuck, we're just gonna throw a show in our jam room. Like that attitude has kind of disappeared because like like if we do this and the landlord catches us, we're gonna get evicted. They might have to shut down or blah blah blah, like blah blah, whatever. But yeah, apparently there's been a few house shows or basement shows happening more recently, so maybe it's coming back. Haywire did, I couldn't make it unfortunately, but they threw a concert in a skate park. I thought that was a really cool idea and very Boston thing to do. Like it was underneath the Zakin Bridge. Pretty cool spot. The photos there that I've seen were freaking incredible. Unfortunately, I was locked up at the tap room. Couldn't make it.
I saw a bunch of stuff from that too. I was like, wow, that's dope. It reminded me of in Philly, they used to do Punk in the Park at least once a year in the skate park in Philly underneath the L. And it was always fun, except, well, it was fun, but, Bad Luck 13 would, of course, headline 90% of the time, and then you'd just have a riot break out because it's Philly. So, like, oh, how many people need to go to the hospital today? Whatever. But it's funny, too, I guess. Here we have our skate park, and once a year, every year, they have an event for Andy Williams, A-Dog. He was a DJ, hip-hop DJ. It was amazing. And he would come to like hardcore shows back when I booked them, but he passed from cancer. Actually, last night was the anniversary, and I want to say it was over a decade ago. So taken way too young. But every year on A-Dog Day, they have bands, but it's always like jam, punk-esque, not quite. Like real adjacent, but not quite. And then hip hop, which is great. But they don't quite seem to think about how you can cross genres anymore. Like how the same mentality that came from underground hip hop is the same mentality as underground hardcore. It's disenfranchised youth. What'd you say? Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, that band was incredible. I like listening to them recorded. I was like, okay, I can get into this, but seeing them live, I was like, holy shit, please, more of this.
That was my same reaction at Decibel Fest when I saw him. I had no idea who they were. Caught him live, and I was like, that band fucking rips.
Yeah, that's just shout out Soul Glow. You're amazing.
Yeah, that guitarist absolutely goes into it. I don't know how he plays. Absolute frenzy. Do with the big poofy hair.
Oh yeah, I love the hair and I love the energy and everything. So you're jealous. You're jealous of his hair. That's fair.
Yeah, the dude has an amazing fro, and I'm like, I got like one little sprout that like sticks up. I'm like, oh, I gotta get a haircut clip.
Oh,
that's why I wear hats all the time.
Yeah, but you got a beautiful mustache, right?
Yeah, it came from all the hair that was on my head. It just got stuck. Yeah, you drink a beer, you get a frothy lip, and all the hair just sticks to it, and yeah, it's permanent now.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So what else we got? Thoughts, comments, suggestions?
It's your podcast, baby.
I know, right? Do you have any? Have you ever shown your work like in galleries or anything like that? Has anybody asked you to come and put, BananaMasher like pieces onto a wall somewhere?
Not without a level of biasness.
Okay.
I curated a couple exhibits at Bone Up, which I did include myself in one installment, and with Reed, who was at Saddest Day.
I love
and Omari Spears. He goes by Shoots on the IG. But yeah, that was my doing, so I don't really count that as such. And as well, like I have photos of shows that happened at Widowmaker on the wall at Widowmaker. That wasn't my doing. That was the owner. Like, hey man, this would be really fun. Cool. Like, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah. So, but like, well, I work there too. So it's kind of, I haven't had like a museum or, anyone outside of my own little bubble be like, hey, come do something. But yeah, it's maybe someday.
I always think about it like, I mean, you mentioned Reed, and then you've got Andres Cortez, and then myself, Jacqueline Vanek, Benedetto, Sound Frames. There's like a bunch of us that will still shoot in black and white and do this band stuff. And it would be fun at some point to get together and be like, here's a traveling show. Like we could do it one city, then move it, like once a month to a different city and say, here's black and white band photography in this realm, have an opening with some bands that play or something. It'd just be a fun thing to do at some point. Get a bunch of us idiots together, do something together. I mean, we're already in a community. Every time we see each other, we're at least polite to one another. So, at least I like to think so.
But there's only a couple of photographers that I don't like, but won't go into too much detail there.
That's fair. I hear you. I try to. It's interesting, like post-COVID, post-addiction, post-everything in my life, I've really been trying, like you said, it's like instead of going into it, I focus on all the positives now, like, which is hard to do when so much negative shit is happening. Like you were saying for you, where it was all these different things were hitting you all at once. And I had a lot of the same go on in life. And instead of saying, okay, like I recently lost my best friend because of problems between her and I. And like, that was just where it is, and it's fine. It's not fine, but it is what it is. And I'm just going to live with it, and I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to keep doing what I need to do. And the hardest part is you look at these things and you go, okay, this negative thing going on, but what are the positives going on for me? And if I don't see any positives, now I go, well, I'm going to go make a positive, because fucking I don't want to just sit here in my depression for myself. It's not to shit on anybody else. It's just to say, this is what we have to do, I guess, is we kind of band together, make a community, and move forward, right? And so, and it's interesting because, I've got my own little tics when it comes to certain people, locally especially, but I just kind of go, all right, there's that person. And I'll be cordial, I'll be polite, and then I just move past it and go, I'm doing my own thing. So, but I hear that.
I'm already socially awkward as it is. Like, I usually just focus and keep my head down and do my own thing. And especially how I came up shooting shows, like I was just like the fly on the wall, didn't really know anyone. People didn't know who I was. Like, it was just fine. I would just show up, do my little thing, and then, you know, I would leave, which, you know, sometimes that's still my mindset. Like, I'm just here to like take photographs. Like, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to like hang out or like even like talk to people. Like, I'll intentionally avoid people I know just to not have that interaction that probably has something to do with the mental health aspect. But it's like some days, you know, I'm in a tap room most of the time, surrounded by people. Most of those people I don't want to talk to, just because like we are not the same person, and you're rude as fuck. So, but I have to be nice to you. It's like and around, you know, like everyone in the concert, and it's like, well, I'm trying to move around the venue, and I got to be courteous to all the people who pay to see the bands. So I got to, you know, work my way around, and like it's very much an escape to me. So I kind of want to keep, you know, that escapism there. I'm here for the music and to take photographs, and like that's kind of all I want to do. Catch me after or before the show, and, you know, like let's chat and hang out. But like usually during like the show time, I'm usually just kind of locked in and just kind of doing my own thing. And sorry to anyone who thinks like I may be like, you know, disregarding them or being rude by like not saying hey or whatever. Like, I may have not have just seen you. But
my biggest thing has always been I'm in work mode, so I'm focused. So I hear you.
Yeah, sometimes it's just I just want to. And then there's some shows like, you know, Saddest Day, I couldn't walk 10 feet without bumping in somebody that I knew, which is awesome and fine. Like, you know, certain events and shows, it's like, you gotta be personable. You gotta say hi to, you can't be that jerk that's just like, don't talk to me, I'm shooting. But like, yeah, it's you know, some days are better than others. If I'm in bad spirits or, you know, kind of in a bum mood, probably not. But if you're happen to be a person that I just don't like anyways, I'm probably just not going to do it at all, regardless.
Right?
But,
no,
unfortunately, I don't see those often.
I'm told that I wear my emotions on my face sometimes, so it's hard for me to keep the mask up. You know, like if I don't like you, then it shows that I don't like you, or I become extremely silent. Like stand there and that. But
yep, there's one of them at Saddest Day. Maybe you can figure out who it was. They tried talking to me a couple times, and I was just like, yeah, just, you know, minimal response and turn my head. Like, sorry, man. I politely declined to talk to you.
Yeah, it's honestly the best way.
Yeah, it's just you know, don't need to be rude about it, don't need to be mean, but it's just like I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna go back to take my shots. Sorry, man. But yeah, then it's like, you know, seeing other people, and, you know, it's like, you know, I'm all chatty with them, and it's like, well, why isn't he chatty with me? It's like, because you get my shot, man, every fucking time I put my camera up.
Oh man, I was editing a couple photos of Coalesce, and some of the photos came out great. And there's just this one person in the background, they're just highly reflective and standing off to the side. I was like, damn you. And I didn't see them when I'm shooting it because I'm so focused on who I'm shooting that I'm like, damn it. You know, and then I'm like laughing because I'm like, that's on me. That's not that poor person. So
I have a shot that I clearly have the Rev like taking his shot in it, but like I kind of like it because like Aaron's a cool dude, and it was just like it kind of shows, like, you know, like a level of the show too. Like, I got this shot of the guitarist doing some noodly things, but he was on the other side of the stage, catching him from that angle, and I like that. Like, I caught like a buddy of mine taking, like, we both saw the same thing, and having him in the shot, I'm like, fuck it, like, that's fine, that's cool. Yeah. But it's like, it's different if you have like that person's like hand or, you know, whatever, like, you know, that's the level of blocking. You know, that would fall for having Aaron in frame for that shot. But like, you know, what can you do at shows? Like, you are where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
We couldn't be in the front because everyone in the front was just getting annihilated. It's like most of us could only shoot from the side. Where the photographer is going to be behind the musicians that you're shooting because you have limited angle space. But what can you do?
I hate to
say stuff like that too, because I used to be that person, not looking at the viewfinder and spraying around, and I would have other photographers be like, "You need to calm down. Like, you're in so many of my shots." I'm like, I never thought about that. Noted.
You and I have kind of an advantage too, because we're kind of large, tall, large dudes. So I just kind of walk through people and go take my shots and then get the hell out of their way, that kind of thing. And so like the front, like you were saying, the front row there for HopeCon, I was there for the first 2 songs. Then I went and ran around the rest of the building for the whole thing just to shoot from every other angle. But it was one of those I'm not gonna stay here because I know that I'm gonna get annihilated. Like you said, it's just like some guy actually even asked me and my friend, "Why would you bring a camera to this? Like, it's like thousands of dollars in your hand and people are flying through the air." And I was like, "Well, kind of used to it." So
I've already broken cameras and gear and stuff before, so it's try not to do it. Hillary was joking. She was like, "You might be crazy enough to shoot from the front." I'm like, I don't know about this show. We'll see. I'll see how people are doing, but I
had one close call. Some kid, I think it was right as Coalesce started. He came from the left side of the stage, flying to the right side of the stage, and almost took my camera out of my hands. I was like, shit. So then I just backed up. I was like, okay, not here, back up. But
there's a spot that I was standing for a while too that seemed to have been like the spot everyone was like jumping on the stage. And I'm like, it's going to be a matter of time before like a knee or an elbow clips me. Like, I'm getting out of here.
And there was, so, I'll say this in the most polite way that I can, if any of these people ever listen or watch this, but there's a weight limit and a size limit to stage diving. Just remember that, people. Weight limit and a size limit. If you are 300 plus pounds, no one wants to catch your ass. Stop that.
I'm moving out of the way.
Like, I'm just going to let you fall.
Not doing that, man. Yeah.
Oh, but
yeah. There was a couple of years ago, I tried to take shots. I emptied out all my pockets and dropped everything except for like the camera. And I stage dove and I tried to take photos while I was crowd surfing all of the bands. The photos came out trash. Did not pull it off. A buddy of mine, Tom Couture, he did it some years back too, and like he actually managed to get some good shots. I'm like, that's incredible. I tried, and I thought I was too concerned about falling and either busting myself or the camera. I'm like, oh, I can protect the camera. Well, that means my body's gonna eat shit.
Yep.
So yeah, I was way too anxious and nervous about what was happening to concentrate on getting like proper angles or proper anything photos. And I was just spraying, hoping that they, like you said, like, I'm 200 pounds. Like, I hope everyone can hold me up as I'm trying to do this. And yeah, I was only up in the air for like 5 seconds too. Like, I got dropped. Like,
I don't even know. I don't know how many times I've been to shows, but I would say I've never stage dove, but I mean, I crowd killed once with just feet first into the audience, aiming for somebody. So I can't say that I haven't stage dove, but I've never crowd surfed ever at any concert. People are like, why don't you do that? I was like, honestly, I don't trust other people. It's like, they're going to drop my ass. I'm too big. Like,
yeah, I've done that. Like, really big shows. I've done it when it's like, well, I want to get to the other side of the venue now, and getting out from being locked into the middle. Like, I think it would just be easier if I just like crowd surf like either back or have them push me over the barricade, so then I can just walk around that way. And
yeah,
I've done that a few times to exit like large crowds, and it typically works.
That's smart. That's actually really smart.
Yeah. A couple of years, several years ago, I have stitches here and here, both eyes, from being busted up in mosh pits. So like I'm more or less retired from antics like that.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I'll come out of retirement. PM Fest this past year, I think it was during midnight. I had all access. I came from behind the stage to stage dive. Like people just like kept on doing it. It looked like a lot of fun. I'm like, I think I'm going to do it. So I put everything down, got a running stop from the fucking back end of the stage, around the corner, up and over. And yeah, I was like doing like one of those. Like I went a little too hard. And I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, I totally like landed on people. I'm pretty sure I killed 2 people. Went straight down to the ground. Oh yeah, I went a little bit rusty on my technique, but yeah, I think I went a little too fast, and I think I missed the meat of like the people too. I caught like the edge of like where the mosh pit was forming.
Oh yeah.
Again, I think I came in with a little bit too much heat.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I was just like, all right, I had a little cut on my arm, and like that was it. And I'm like, all right, and this I kind of heard, and this is why I decided not to do stuff like that again.
It's fair. Yeah, I'm too old at this point. I got sciatic pain in the side. So, I tell people all the time, I'm like, if I'm good for one show, like one song, and that's it. Like, I realize at the age of 44, I can't dance like I used to in my 20s. So if I'm in there in a mosh pit, I'm good for one song, and then I'm done. That's it for the rest of the night. So I save it for the sing along, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I just I'll take photos of people doing it now. I don't want to get hit anymore. Getting hit sucks.
It does.
Inexpensive too. I've lucked out that I only had to get stitches both times, but like I've had my buddy's front turned sideways. Oh yeah, that was a tray you unearthed back in like, I don't know, if he sees this, he'll probably text me immediately like, you got the date wrong, but it's like, I don't know, we're like 1920 or something like that, so it had to be like around 2007.
Yep.
But yeah, he got his front tooth turned 90 degrees, and still stayed in his mouth too, which was amazing. Got $100 ticket that night, speeding down the highway up to the hospital. Buddy recently just broke his heel, I think, from stage diving. Oh yeah, like a random, like he hit the spot just right, and it grounded him. He had to get immediate surgery a few days later. So yeah, I can only imagine what those hospital bills were. Like they had to give me a CT scan, I think, for this one to check my orbital bone. When I got that, it was I forget what the hospital bill was. I didn't pay it, but it was a couple $1,000 because I had to get like multiple image work done to check my face. And I was like, I don't think moshing is worth this anymore.
There was an incident years ago. I booked a band at this tiny little like Oddfellows temple, and I remember this. He was like a larger, heavier set kid. He was, in the mosh pit, just poorly moshing, but he was still trying. And somebody jumped from the side and jumped onto him, and I remember watching his kneecap go the opposite way and then sideways. And he just collapsed. And I was like, okay. I ran up and like stopped the music and called an ambulance. And he got taken away. And I was like, oh my God, that was disgusting. But like his bone was like coming out of his knee. And I was like, this is not how I think he envisioned his evening going. But
yeah, his life just changed because of moshing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
At this point, I think that we're good. We've gone about an hour and 15 minutes. It's a beautiful little set of conversation here, and I don't want to take up more of your time than I need to. But I appreciate you talking with me, man.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me.
There's a weird lag going on right now too on your end for some reason. Where'd you go? You there? Uh-oh. Wow, there it is.
my wife.
There it goes.
I got like a little tiny house.
That's okay. But yeah, so definitely thank you for coming on, and so definitely be seeing you shortly, I think, at some point in the real world.
When you what are you shooting at? Oh, I'll see you at Psalm in Holy Light.
Yeah,
that's in
February.
February.
And then probably some time before then, down in January. I know I'll get down your way. So
yeah, like I got already 1, 2, 3, 4 shows planned in January.
Damn.
And that's not counting like weekday. That's like mostly like something in the Way Fest is Saturday, Sunday. I didn't get to shoot Vermont at all this year, and I shot like 24 stories. And I did not get a show in New Hampshire or Vermont at all this year. There's a few I was trying to get to, and it just didn't work out. But yeah, higher ground, dude.
Yeah, I was going to say we don't have any venues except higher ground. Well, we have Stone Church in Brattleboro, which is closer to you. But yeah,
they don't do as well as you were saying. There's not a lot of metal and
no.
Come through these venues. I saw Cannibal Corpse at Higher Ground some years ago, but it's a fun show.
That's good.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah. So once we're done with this, just make sure you let your computer stay open for a minute because it's got to fully download your end of it for me. But otherwise, we're all set. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
De nada. Adios.
See ya. And